Somehow, all my recent videos are connected to the word death. Although this one is not about literal death, it's more about figurative death. Although context is highly dependable on people or on the situation and is a very subjective thing, it cannot literally die. But a lot of people can try to kill it. Exactly about that is today's video, about the fact that a lot of people are trying to destroy context, or rather destroy its meaning in our everyday life. More about it in a moment. But obviously, before we begin, I have to tell you that this is Yury Experience, and here I share my various opinions about different topics. I do 2 videos per week, Mondays and Thursdays. If you will enjoy this video, please drop a like. You can also subscribe to the channel. Let's go! I will start with a different topic which is highly connected to the word context, and it is about labels, and also about the fact that nowadays people like to throw labels left and right. A couple of videos ago I did a video about the fact that labels are not as easy to assign to people as a lot of people are trying them to make be assignable. I hope it is understandable. But although I am a strong believer in the fact that labels shall not be thrown poorly or thrown without a thought, but it doesn't mean that the whole society works in the same way. A lot of different people have different values and they have different reasons to more or less easily throw a label at another person. But the most incredible thing about this whole process of throwing labels at different people is the fact that a lot of people don't really understand what do they mean, or what do these labels mean, what are definitions of these things. That's basically one of the main reasons actually why I create some of videos on this channel, in order to explain the concepts and to make people understand that not every label that all of the people use in a specific way is meant to be used in that specific way. Let me give you one rather dangerous example. Let's use the word pedophile. Nowadays you can hear a lot of people using the word pedophile in order to, as a label for people who are interested, mainly sexually, in people under 18. But pedophile is kinda more than that. First, it is on a lot of occasions an illness. I think it is called an illness. It's a psychological problem with a person. Second, what is very important in this context, this person finds these people attractive because they are young. Not because they, for example, have nice body or whatnot, but because they are young, pedophiles find them attractive. So basically, very dumb example, if a person is 16, looks like that person is 20 and has an attractive body, then the person who's interested in that person is not pedophile per definition, because that person doesn't look like 16. This person doesn't look like a child or a teen. And another interesting point, pedophiles are actually only people who are attracted to people under pre-puberty age, so under 13 I think, or under 12, something like that. Then there is a different category, there's the name for puberty people, and then different category for after puberty people. But nobody freaking cares. Everybody just uses the word pedophile left and right on different people, sometimes people who don't deserve that claim, and are happy with it because they fight against abuse of other people. And don't get me wrong, abuse is a very terrible thing, especially of people who are not used to society, so basically people under 18. More or less. But throwing all of them under the same bus, including the fact that people who actually have the psychological problem shall go to therapy and can get help, no, we will just throw all of them out of the society because it is disgusting. Without understanding and without empathy, which a lot of people claim to have. Speaking of empathy, it's not like people who claim that they are tolerant people, that they are observed to throw labels less. Actually, they throw them approximately the same amount, they just throw them at different people. So basically, people who are throwing labels as a part of a bad group, racist, homophobia and whatnot, are throwing labels at people who are discriminated who are less powerful in our society, although it is not the case in a lot of occasions. And if you are an example of this stereotypical tolerant person, then you throw labels at an opposite group without thinking, without categorizing, without making some, I don't know, grayscale, without any scale. You said one time something bad about this group, you are a racist, for example. What that person maybe has personal reasons to say something like that, maybe psychological problems, or maybe that person may mean it somehow differently as you understood it, and you, just because of your experience, understood it in a bad way, and that person is actually a nice, good being. No, it doesn't work like that. I threw a label, so that person is definitely that. This brings me to the main point of this video. People just ignore the context. They ignore the previous experiences of other people, conditions maybe of other people, and just start claiming these people to be something because of their own experience. I think that you are bad, so that is why you have to be bad, because in my personal experience, every person who said the word violet is an evil person, which is why if you use the word violet one time in your existence, then you are an evil person. And violet may be a fun example to you, but I'm pretty sure you know that there are some words that you cannot use because you are part of a particular group. And if you would be in a different group, maybe you could use these words, maybe not. Because at the end of the day, there are, again, like some differences. If you are belonging to this group and you appear also to belong to this group, you can use some specific words. But if not, how dare you? And I personally think people do it just to be safe. People do it to appear to be a good person. I know that everybody cares about this specific group right now, so I will do as if I care too, although I never ask them what they actually need, what kind of help do they need, and what kind of discrimination they experience. I want to be good, so I will fight for it, although nobody needs me there. Great example here would be comedy. There are more and more talks about comedy being persecuted for the fact that comedians, sometimes do jokes that are not very appropriate to all groups of people. I personally find it sad. I personally find it strange even to go to a person who is telling a joke, and that person is clearly telling a joke, maybe on a big scale even, and say that person, it doesn't matter what experience you had in your life, what context do you have, what context did you provide during your performance, you are a bad person if that joke was somehow discriminatory to other people. And I don't want to even start on the fact that a lot of jokes that are discriminatory are also extremely freaking funny. And a lot of them are more funny than most of POC, politically correct jokes. Yeah, politically correct jokes that are in this world. People love differences. People love drama. People love dissing. And that's no surprise that people like jokes that are slightly discriminatory, although how much discriminatory they are depends highly on people who are listening. Not sometimes on the person who is telling the jokes too, but on a lot of occasions there are people who are just telling jokes, and there are people who are listening to them and, wow, how could you? And I'm not even talking about the fact that joking and humor is a coping mechanism for a lot of different various problems. I'm not talking about the fact that somehow it is okay for people from the group that was discriminated upon to joke in discriminatory way. And I'm not talking about the fact that life experience of that specific person is completely ignored. So this whole context idea, this whole idea that sometimes it is more to the saying than just the saying itself, and if a comedian in this case is a good comedian, that person will provide the context. This idea that we just throw it away for the case of having a better life, I find it wrong. Including the fact that better is not always something good. Better is sometimes just our idea of something good. But ideas are not always working in the real world. That's why they are ideas. And the real world is the real world. That's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If it is the case, please drop a like and also subscribe to the channel. You can also leave a comment. Please, the comments are open. And I see you on Thursday. Have a great week.